There's tons and tons of vendors for everything you can imagine. There's Funko Pops and makeup. Did anybody get any of the pastries they had yesterday, the cookies? No. Well, those are awesome. Those are works of art. And you know what? The baker who made them ran out of cookies yesterday. Okay, I know Friday night they emptied the ATM machines they had set up on the floor. That's Friday. That's not even the busy time yet. So we're having a great weekend. Who's your favorite celebrity that you've seen this weekend, or maybe still have to see yet? Melissa?
Yeah.
She's a blast. Tom Savini? Yeah. He's a master of his craft. There are two top-notch makeup guys in Hollywood that do this stuff. Rick Baker and Monster Baker. You ever see the Thriller video, American Werewolf in London? That's Tom Baker. We all know what Tom Savini does. He's an absolute master. Did anybody catch the panels with him yesterday? Yeah. We did the street show on Friday night. Day of the Dead yesterday. There was a director's panel that he did as well. So, again, absolute masters at their craft. Who else did we want to see? Who? Another fantastic guest. Anybody else that you really just thought was cool?
Dreyfus.
Yeah. Yep.
Your mom.
My mother wasn't here. My brother was here. My mother wasn't here. So, actually, my mom doesn't like work. She's a retired nurse and saw enough blood for her life. She just wasn't much for it. But anyway, anything else that you haven't gotten to do that you really would have liked maybe to get in on, or no? Fair enough. Any paranormal fans here? Well, there's a paranormal panel after this one. Did anybody go to the Talk Scary to Me last night, the ticketed podcast? What'd you think? Good, yeah, it was fun. Anybody catch any of the seminars they had next door? Or any of the movies and the film festival that they had? There was some neat stuff last night. Anybody go to the VIP party last night? Anybody have, is this their first Scarefest? Yes. Oh boy, you all bet you had a blast.
Yeah.
Fantastic. First Scarefest I came to wasn't the very first one they had Denise Crosby. And despite loving all this stuff, I'm also a big Star Trek nerd. So, I had to meet Clint Howard today. I mean, I know lots of folks here are Ice Cream Man. He's just one of those guys that's been in a ton of stuff. Well, if you didn't know, he's also Ron Howard's brother. What? Yeah, the director Ron Howard, who's done a billion different movies, was Opie on the old Andy Griffith show. Clint was on there a couple of times as a little boy. Clint Howard was on Star Trek, the original series back in the 60s as a little boy. He's done a ton of stuff, but Ice Cream Man, that's a creepy movie. Favorite horror movie?
Thriller. Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp?
Fright Night.
Fright Night? That's a good one.
Reanimator.
Reanimator. They had Jeffrey Combs here a few years ago.
Yes.
Who also is a Star Trek guy as well, because he's another one of those character actors that's done a bunch of stuff. He did. There was an HBO series a few years ago called Perversions of Science, which went along the same lines as Tales from the Crypt that he did, and he played like a killer or something strange, but it was good. And then he does a one-man show, Edgar Allan Poe, which is really cool. Which Edgar Allan Poe is kind of one of the original horror writers. What else? What other movies do we like?
Showgirls.
Showgirls. Yeah. That's scary, all right, but not kind of in the same way as the No, nobody lays and cries on the floor when they see a My Little Pony movie or something. Yeah. So, Alien was something that really scared me a lot when I was a kid. I sat up late at night watching it one night, and we were living next door to my grandparents at the time, and I had to run back to my house because I've been watching it theirs. I ran like hell. Omen is something that scares the dickens out of me. Have you all seen Omen before? Oh yeah. It's from the 70s. It had masterful actor Gregory Peck in it, Lee Remick, great actors. But when she jumps out the window at that birthday party, when the nanny hangs herself, that really just freaked me out. I mean, that still resonates however many years later. So,
That's Jack Palanta's daughter in that scene.
yeah. So, again, everything scares us differently. Some of the stuff may not scare you. Some horror movies are horrendously bad, and you got to laugh a little bit, but they're still fun. Zombie. You can probably find it on Netflix or something. It's about a giant killer beaver.
Juby.
It's rabbit and kind of werebeaver. Pardon? What else do we like?
Dead Alive.
Another good
Oh,
choice.
yes,
Another great
yes,
choice.
yes.
Have you seen the Creep Show?
Great
Did you all see
job.
the Creep Show panel Friday night?
Yes.
I love that movie. I absolutely love it. A friend of mine, the guy that does most of the panels, he's got a poster. He's got George Romero's signature on there. And he's got the hardest one of all to get. And that's George Romero's dead. And this may still be harder to get than George Romero. He's got Stephen King on there. Stephen King spoke in Louisville a few years ago at an event, a book club thing. And my friend Jo, she's friends with him too. She doesn't play with much, but and this is Kat, by the way. She's obviously a sign language interpreter. She does this for a lot of. Live streaming on Facebook. This is going to add a whole new dynamic and dimension for people who enjoy the horror genre, the normal genre, to see exactly what's going on and be able to take part in these too. And if you're here and you're hearing impaired, again, fantastic opportunity that she presents us and allows us to relay to our customers and our great fans like yourself. You know, I know Brandon and Nicole, who own the convention, they're tickled to death about this year. As we had meetings building up for it, we were so excited because we absolutely knew this is going to be the biggest con, you know, the biggest horror convention in the country. We knew it was coming. And then you walk around the floor yesterday, Friday night, today, and you know it's here. The vendors are fantastic. The guests are fantastic. There were lots of lines all over the place, and it's been unbelievable. You all are the reason why, and we have a blast doing this every year. Thank you all so much for allowing us to come and play in our world of fantasy. Dark fantasy, granted, but fantasy. We have so much in common, and it's a blast. So give yourselves a round of applause. Because you're the reason we can keep doing this. As long as we keep coming, we'll keep putting it on. So who do you want to see next year? Jennifer Tilly will be ready.
Jamie Lee.
Yeah, he's-
I know it'll never happen. It'll never happen.
She's been to
How she? I can't. Oh, I'd lose my
Tony
mind.
Collette.
Yeah. So your daughter's here, so
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So
Yeah.
as long as Skarsgård stays out of the cloud, because that's free. So anybody for Halloween with a bubble or a balloon in their green street right there? Anybody? They can hold down there. Not ready.
Yeah.
I want to see Lynn Shay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I heard she was here the year before I started.
Oh. Plumber.
So hopefully she's back and she's with I would be, right?
Yeah.
As kind of Lynn Shay, we need to have her back.
Well, yeah. We had enough with Gal before. Pardon? Yeah, she would be good.
James
They had Robert England last year. Anybody know who that guy is? Yeah,
James Warren.
another good one. Well,
Tony
seems like a
Tony
good
Todd.
convention too.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool moment, and this applies to any band of kind of any of the genres around it. So it was Sunday night after the con was over. We went over to Nick and Norman's for dinner. So we're sitting up on this kind of raised area. Right next to us was a table. Sam and Ted Raimi were sitting there eating dinner. There were some other people there too, but Sam Raimi, for God's sake, who does, if you're into horror, well, he's done a couple of those that I still love watching to this day. There's campy and crazy as ever. He also did Spider-Man movies. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He did Doctor Strange stuff. So he's just a great Hollywood director, and he gives us a lot of joy, a lot of fun. Has anybody seen the musical?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is great. Evil Dead the musical is unbelievable. When they start singing the Necronomicon, you know you're having a good time. So we saw it in the movie a few years ago. There was a splatter zone in the front. Everyone's wearing ponchos and goggles because the blood flies, and they're having to mop up the blood at intermission. So it was great. But again, it's a fantastic time. Does anybody have any big questions right now? Do you have questions ready for Sleepaway Camp? Well, we've done panels before, and while it's a joy to be up here, this is a great opportunity for you all to interact with these great celebrities and ask them that one question you've always wondered about why they did this in the movie or why they did that in the movie or what have you. So, or something else. Now, we can't really talk about upcoming projects because they're all dealing with that mess right now. But we're ready. Okay, we rented some scene delays. Just that's on us, and we apologize for that. I am not a tape dancer though. I've got a bum knee anyway, even if I could. So you may have seen me hobbling around with pain this weekend. So anyway, we've talked about your favorite horror movie. Are there any horror TV shows you like?
Great. Blood Rain.
Wait. Anybody watch Joe Bob?
Great show.
Everybody here, most everybody have Shudder?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody watched The Last Drive-In?
Yeah.
Y'all ever been to Joe Bob's lecture on how rednecks save Hollywood? I've seen it twice at Louisville. That is absolutely fantastic. He doesn't really talk about horror at all. I know it's a disappointment, and Darcy's usually there when he does it. He talks about the history of rednecks in America. Talking about the migration of rural cultures. It feels like a college lecture, really. The migration of rural cultures from England and how they settled in the U.S. And by the end of the lecture, he determines that Smokey and the Bandit is the greatest film ever made. So, and he talks about trucking movies and movies about running moonshine. Dukes of Hazzard was run into that, all kinds of stuff. For those of us that grew up in the '70s, Smokey and Bandit was literally the biggest movie at the time. Now, Star Wars took off, certainly, but Smokey and Bandit is still the biggest damn movie they had during that time. Burt Reynolds was right in Hollywood, so. But it was really horror, so we'll wander into something else. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was insane. And not long after that, we had Friday the 13th. Anybody heard of that stuff?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Yeah. Halloween. So, nobody here seen the Halloween movie? No, not at all. Okay. Nobody got their autographs upstairs today?
Is that the one about Corey?
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's really more of a documentary on how to properly provide children Halloween candy. That's what it's about, and not put razor blades in it or anything like that. So, don't put like arsenic in the popcorn bowl, whatever you do. Definitely don't let it get traced back to you. Anybody partake of the trick or treat candy
Yes.
No, it's tough. It's really tough. But, I think, as I understand it, the sleepaway camp folks had a photo op that was scheduled like now, so we'll get that kind of hammered out. Again, we apologize for the delays and the terrible inconvenience, but we're going to get it hammered out, and we're going to have to handle it. They run a little short than normal because it's about 10 after right now, but we'll definitely have a great time. Has anybody ever sat in on a panel with Melissa Rose before?
Yes.
Good Lord, she's hilarious. I got to do one of these a few years ago with another sleepaway camp, not the same personnel, but and she just walks in and kind of takes over. It's hilarious. And any kids? A couple of minors. There you go, young fella. Have you seen sleepaway camp? Brain's not oozing out of your ears. I was doing okay up until that final scene. Brain kind of oozes out of your ears. What the hell was that? Yeah. You know, and I'm a 53-year-old man now. I didn't see it yesterday, but still, watching. Let's see. Anybody going hayrides for Halloween?
I used to work at a haunted house.
I used to go to. Cool. You know, there's a town south of here, it's a college town, Richmond. Anybody familiar with Richmond, Kentucky?
Yeah.
At Eastern Kentucky University. So they used to do a haunted house down there, sponsored by Rescue Squad in town. They would really work it up. They had guys running around with chainsaws. They obviously took the chains off of it, but the noise still was kind of creepy, scary. 1 year, they had an ambulance come up with stretchers. They used people and were trying to mount that, stop that, because people started leaving. And one of the best things they had, depending on, I guess, perspective and where you were in relation to it, but they had a working electric chair. They took cattle wire, which electric fence wire, they used to keep cattle in from their areas. They took a big wooden chair and they did it. And if you sat in it, you get a little. And I'm not gonna lie, and I probably should be ashamed, but it's kind of funny watching rough college kids trying to get out of that thing. And but it was a blast, you know, and they had all kinds of stuff, and it was great. But, so, favorite creepiest scene in a movie? Jump scare next to three. Yeah. Any more?
When Michael Jackson turned into the werewolf. Yes.
That's good. Well, it's because you had the masterful monster maker that we talked about a while ago, Rick Baker.
The
He was
transformation
great.
scene in American Werewolf in London. That's where he goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same guy using the same effects, but it still looks fantastic. Yep, that's another good one. Yeah, that's another good one.
Yes, ending of sleepaway camp.
Yeah. You know, one that always kind of creeped me out, and the scene of itself is not gross or blood splatter. You better jump on the page. You know, just that suspense level, because sometimes the suspense to me is better than seeing someone get shredded or stabbed or whatever it is. Because the suspense, because you use your imagination, because then you're thinking, what the hell did they do to me? Or what are they gonna do? Or things like that. That suspense is where I get the most fun. It's like Psycho. Any Hitchcock fans? Yeah. Psycho is one of the great movies ever. You know, you've got one scene that's really, well, there's two scenes gruesome. When you first see Mama, that's a little weird. And then, but the shower scene is it, and then the rest of it, all of it's suspense. Okay, just a moment.
While we're waiting, my very first experience in a haunted house, and saying really fast, I had a guy chasing the chainsaw. He was coming out of the exit, and I was in the line to go in, and he saw me from afar, and he just slowly started walking to me and rubbing it. And it was my very first time because I grew up in a religious cult. So that was my very first time doing anything like this. I thought I was going to hell. And he actually came over, and there was a friend of mine that was in front of me, this big old black guy. And I was like, he's watching me, he's looking, he's coming. He's like, no. But when it was that he's coming, he's like, oh, girl, you better move. And this guy with the chainsaw, he came out right, he literally chased me around my friend, like in circles with the chainsaw, and actually got me. Like, right, crack. And there was no place, but I tell you what, I remember it to this day. I can still feel it to this day. I still can't sit for very long. So that was my very first haunted house experience. And it was in Louisville, Kentucky, near 4th Street Live. Have any of you guys been to Louisville? Right here? Yeah, you from Louisville? Yeah, I live in Louisville. I grew up in Louisville. Yeah. Anyone else from Louisville? All right. Hi, little baby. Rock on. All right. I just had to give my little tidbit. I didn't have to talk so fast. Come on. You want me to sign it? Okay. Not gonna waste it, just signing it. Thank you. Charlie Chaplin was my favorite girl.
Any movie fans here?
Yeah!
Fans here? We have Melissa, Catherine,
I'm gonna go to bed.
I was a teenager too. 40 years ago. Well, welcome. I think I've seen a couple of you all here before. So we really appreciate you all coming back to Scarefest for our 15th anniversary and your 40th. So fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll take the first question. What is the thing that sticks out the most after 40 years of this movie?
My penis.
Well, we'll get you some saltpeter that should go in.
I just want to watch her do penis.
Yeah. Well, that's the show, folks. So how about the rest of you all, what stands out after 40 years of this movie?
That people still show up. It's just, it's so gratifying, like to see everybody and hear the stories of how the movie impacted them and how for a lot of people it was like the gateway to horror. It's just, 40 years later, this is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Nothing but great.
Now they're not gonna talk, they don't shut up at the table, and now.
It's actually so much bigger now than it was.
Right.
When we made it, nobody really did it. So it didn't stick out as a memory. It's now. Now. We're so grateful for that.
Yeah, I would second that. And then just in terms of 40 years ago, there's there's a few specific things, but generally it was just the feeling of, it's almost like being in camp making movies. You know what I mean? Like we were all kids. I was 15, Melissa was 13, and we were away from home, hanging out, just having a good time, whether it be filming a scene or not.
Making out.
And we're
It was
lucky
just a blast.
I didn't see Tom for 40 years. I thought Melissa and Catherine, like maybe here and there, and it feels like that again. We're just so
It does,
lucky. It really feels like we saw each other yesterday. Well, we did.
Next Friday.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, let's go on and get started with the questions. First, right here.
Have any of you guys met anyone from Robot Chicken? Because I know that's where a lot of people found out about this movie.
Yeah, so Robot Chicken did that amazing moment, and it was the end scene of Sleepaway Camp, and it was sort of like, has anyone seen this film? Does anyone know? It was like, she's a boy. Oh my God, have you seen that movie? I heard through the grapevine that Seth Green enjoys Sleepaway Camp. We're also thankful for that. My best friend is Dave Sheridan, and they're really close collaborators, so I know that somehow he heard about Sleepaway Camp, and I think that was just so cool. To be a part of anything like that, like James A. Janice or Joe Bob Briggs. Well, yeah, let's give it up for them. They really put the spotlight on Sleepaway Camp, and we are so thankful for that. Joe Bob, Joe Bob, Joe Bob, Joe Bob. Oh, he will. Joe Bob, Joe Bob.
Okay, next question.
So, as you said, nobody gave a shit about this movie 40 years ago. So, talk about the first time you got a call from somebody to say, can you come to a convention and talk about this movie?
Oh, you got a good story with that, right? No, your story.
Oh, my story.
I love your Fangoria shirt, and we
Yeah.
were invited to the Fangoria weekend.
When were you in Burbank last week?
Yes.
So like 5 years ago, my son was training at makeup schools in the makeup, and the other makeup school, whatever it's called. Anyway, I in Burbank, and so I like he volunteered, so I went to this convention in Burbank that month. And
I was there.
Why?
I like conventions. I have a few friends right here.
What she did, and you know that she said, "Everybody, this is Judy! Everybody, she did it. She didn't actually take the attention. She actually took the attention off of herself, which is, yeah. So that's what happened, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk around and come here, and I basically did because nobody cared about me. But they're like, come on.
Everyone cares about you, Karen. You're fucking Judy. You're the greatest bitch in horror history. I will say that over and over. That side ponytail knows no that. Judy.
Doing that for 5 years on the phone. So that's why I kind of came out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Ready?
Have you ever had to have a curling iron?
And I'm so glad you asked the question because I was so distracted by your gorgeous lips. You look at that lipstick, everybody. That is gorgeous. Yes, yes. Just yesterday, she wrote 2 days before. And I had to defend myself like, fuck off.
She needs the war. She made out with every boy in the camp. God.
How could she not?
Good Lord.
Guys, not want to be with them.
Your little dress is not hard.
Oh my God.
Next question.
What's your favorite memory of on set? Like, could it be a blooper that you guys had or like an outtake? What's your biggest memory that you remember while filming?
Catherine, Catherine dated a few of the campers.
It was my first time doing a film. I just turned 18, so it was my first time not having my parents around. And so I babied a little bit on set. It was not Judy. It was just fun. Like Chris said, just having such a good time. And kind of at separate groups because the younger ones kind of hung more together, we hung more together. And just, having a good time and enjoying each other while making this movie, which we had no idea anything would happen to. So I think that was the best part.
I mean, we literally hung out with each other almost 24/7.
Right.
I mean, we would, when somebody was filming a scene, we'd go take the van up to the camp and hang out and watch them.
That's basically why we didn't hang out together till 40 years later. I'm sick of each other.
I mean, I remember, just physically, like all the stuff at the lakefront, it was cold. It was like supposed to be summertime, it was really like September, upstate New York. So, it was a lot of, like.
There's a lot of
sucking up-
shrinkage.
A lot of shrinkage, like, besides that, a lot of like sucking on ice cubes to get the steam to go away, when you're talking and stuff. Yeah, because it regulates the temperature in the air. And, a lot of skimpy shorts. Cold.
Lot of shorts on the boys. That's what I remember. Now, I just remember everyone being so kind and fun, and like y'all said, it was like really going to camp, being at Sleepaway Camp. And
Yeah, I don't remember like that much of delineation between filming and not filming. Like you were kind of like if you weren't in front of the camera, you were standing behind the thing. So it was
I
a very organic feel.
It was, and I remember leaving and feeling like, did we make a movie? Like, I mean, I was just 13 years old. I was 12 when I auditioned for the film. And I was like, I think I'm going to be in that movie. I'm not really sure. There was so much hanging out, and like you said,
Camaraderie.
And we ate in that cafeteria. That was like our
those flies were delicious.
Those flies.
I remember the slap scene. The slap scene because
She really slapped you.
but she was so hesitant. She was so sweet.
It didn't look like that.
I said to her, fucking slap me already. It was like late at night. Robert was like, fucking slap her already. And you were like, they're waiting for her to slap me. So that was like the hardest.
I remember your cheek being bright
We
red.
had to convince her, really, just do it.
Well, you asked for it, right?
I did. She really
There
did.
you go. More ways than one.
They say our film is authentic. We're upbeat. We have the accent. We really hit each other.
Still do. What are you talking about? We're like, why are you so fucked up, huh?
Get the fuck out of here.
And those of us, how infectious that weird New York accent was. I grew up in Connecticut, so I didn't have an accent at
Oh
all.
my God, you're like a road over. The first one with this is the road take over.
Y'all sound kind of funny around here. Next question. Yes, young man.
What?
Oh!
bubbling arty skin after.
Yeah. I got there that day. Yeah, that was the Kenny head was kind of making the snake coming out.
I think the last scene with the growl in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Might be a little creepy.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to summer camp in the '80s as a teenager, I never saw any of that stuff happen.
Yeah, it was all lanyards and arts and crafts.
I was in the wrong camp.
Capture the flag.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Hi guys.
Hi. I love you.
I love you guys. Did you ever think that this movie would have such an impact on the trans and queer community? Because it impacted me.
No, and we are so blessed. Well, first of all, Phyllis has been an advocate for LGBT rights forever. And my role is so full circle because I did film my son's transgender, which like do this film and have a transgender, which I'm extremely proud of. I don't know very good, but I'm extremely proud of him for being true to himself. I find, you know, the whole LGBT community, if you're true to yourself, it's just an example for all of us because it's so hard to be true to yourself in general. So no, we're so lucky to have the following that we have. I'm a Trevor Project volunteer. Are trained to, you know, take suicide calls from 13 to 24-year-old transgender and just all of the whole LGBT community. So to be able to be a part of this film and then have my world come circle and advocate for this, no, we are so lucky that our film is deeper than this movie. We are able to stand for something that we never thought we would stand for. We all agree there. So thank you for your
Actually more timely now than it was 40 years ago, which is one of the things that really this makes an impact on us. You know, that we're sort of setting, I guess, a trend way before it became a trend and an issue that needed to have a light shed on it. You know, this serious stuff, right?
That's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next question. Right here. Very good.
I just want to thank you all for coming out. This was my first horror movie. It was quite by accident. I grew up in a minister's home. And Sleepaway Camp was in the children's section of their videos.
Oh.
So young.
It's a big accident.
I'm assuming they didn't screen the movies.
Know what, obviously you guys coming out and supporting the movie, but there's a number of casts that you don't ever hear about or from, like Susie Owen. Plays,
You know, I've been searching for everyone for so long because, you know, as I said, it was the first movie I ever made and I was 13. So for me, and for all of us really, it's been our whole lives. And you know, I get so mushy and sensitive and cry because this movie means so much to me as a person on a human level, like just the connections we all make. And I've tried to find some of them, but you know, it's been hard, and through social media, I haven't been successful. I've hung out with Paul D'Angelo, who plays Ronnie. Recently, we're friends with him. We're gonna get him to some shows. But unfortunately, we lost Aunt Martha, Desiree Gould, may she rest in peace. She is the tie to this movie. She sets the tone, the most brilliant character leading into this great adventure. So hopefully we'll find them and we'll bring them along for 45 and 50.
Have you all run into any instance where a colleague from the film, you know, you go and tell them, yeah, these conventions are great. They're like, wait, what? They're watching this film and they're doing all of this stuff, you know, and asking for autographs. Do you all ever run into that with other cast members?
Well,
Oh,
I think it
John's
happened with me, for sure. Like,
Basically,
you know,
yeah.
none of us, save probably Melissa, had an idea of how much impact it was having. So it's really great that, we get the chance to tag along and meet all you folks.
I had no idea what happened to this movie, we all had our lives and careers and kids and a couple people had reached out a few times to the convention, but only Melissa, who I trusted, called me and said, you need to come and see, you don't understand what has happened. And I said, okay, clearly I don't, I'll come. And then I saw, and it's a world you could never imagine, and I'm so proud to be a part of it, and so happy. The best people I've ever met in my life are the horror.
Was Scarefest the first horror convention you did, Kevin?
What?
Was Scarefest the first horror convention you did?
No, I did one more. I had done the Empire in Florida. That was my first one.
Okay.
But nothing compares to
Well, thank you very much.
And by the way, how awesome is this one? I've done a couple now for the 40th anniversary because I didn't do it before either. But this is by far, the way that Brandon and Nicole take care of you here, and it's super. So thank you to them.
Thank you for having
Very,
us.
very good.
So I'm curious, I don't know if back 40 years ago it was, it's hush hush about endings. Did you guys know the twist when you're making the movie? I imagine you may have had a little bit of an idea, but yeah, did you guys know what you were?
I was the only one with the script.
Yeah, baby, right.
I knew. I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I said, that's cool. But these guys didn't know.
Certainly not through the audition process. And then, once we're up there shooting, then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. You may-
Actually more of a comment, just to reiterate, like, how much we do here. But also, and I shared this with her, actually, but my sister hates horror movies. But this is the one movie I can get her to watch. And I can't kill her. And the very first thing she said as we were watching it was, "House, you get such shit like that."
This was in the 80s, remember? Yeah.
I thought she's gonna break. I grab her and throw her in the lake. She never broke. And I said, how much
Yeah.
Fantastic. Next question. You have
Hi, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
We're doing great.
Thanks, brother.
Oh. Yeah. Me too.
Me too. I love it.
I like the curling iron.
I think I'm going to go on the video line. Video. It's not yes.
Yes.
It's a lot of-
She in the face and I got
Judy
it.
lives.
Come on.
that scene probably affected more teenage girls ever. Because my wife still talks about it.
So my favorite thing, one of my favorite. They had to make it up because it was like copyright or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. My memory is a little fuzzy. I mean, I thought I made it up, but then Melissa thinks she might make it. So I'm kind of like her, because I'm getting longer for, I don't know. It just, I knew that it was too, I think he kind of humbled me a bit. I got, it couldn't match anything because they couldn't get any rights to the music. So I'm not sure. I just don't know. I would take Melissa.
But the album will be out next week.
It's so funny guys,
Who
my
wants to hear
husband is a
it? Who wants to
musician,
hear it?
and he actually put it in one of his songs. And because he just loves Sleepaway Camp so much, so I would say my husband is a musician, he put it in one of his songs, it's on one of his albums, it's crazy.
You guys-
It's super heavy. Yeah,
You
we
guys
talked
sing
about
along
that.
to it.
Here
Sing
we go.
along to it. Here we go. One
Now my husband. Part of CKY, and you put it on.
Right there.
Hello, I love all you guys so much. But I have a question for Melissa. So being 13 and the movie coming out and not being able to watch it in theaters yourself, did you like find a way to watch it?
Oh, I took my whole 8th grade class. Yeah, it came out when I was 14, and it was 1983, so they didn't give a shit. I literally walked through with my entire class, and then we all watched the end, and we went, I remember distinctly seeing that ending, and just like anyone who sees it, I went, that's what we did. Like, I don't know why I hadn't done it. I was there with Chris. We were on the waterfront with the blood and the head, and then suddenly I saw it on the big screen. And wow. Thank you. Yeah, it was great.
Were your teachers going, oh, no.
Yeah, I was in Catholic school. So they didn't want to talk.
I'd say a lot of rulers have broken that down.
Yes.
Next question. Sir?
You know what happened to the mask that he wore in the final scene?
Yeah, Robert Hiltzig, our director, took it, but it was so thin, it was like a potato chip, that he said it just disintegrated after a while, but he had the mask. However, there was a mask made recently that we all saw at the show. Hyperflesh Dude made it, and it's unbelievable. And I plan on doing the full Monty photo up in 2024 where I'm going to be naked with I spoke to Tom Devlin, he does all the Kane Hodder stuff, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna be naked. I'll be nude in 2024.
And there may still be 2 of my heads out there.
We were like really naked in that.
Yeah, well.
I mean, what did you, I
I
knew
think
that your
they
ass
took-
was there.
No, they took basically a pair of tidy whities, cut them out, taped them, over my privates, and then we took a big maple leaf and taped it onto that. And I still have that thing.
I think you really have.
I do, yeah.
I think your head is in
my mom's house.
I was pretty naked too, like I was wearing almost nothing. In that, I mean, like, you gotta love eating too. I was 13 and 15 years old. And I was sitting there half, ass there.
Yeah, what they were allowed to show, I guess.
Melissa, didn't, at the Fangoria thing, at the New Yorker, didn't somebody from Australia show up with his head? I think one of your heads is in Australia.
Okay. Good to know.
Of anybody who knows where his head is, DM us.
Next question.
Good to know.
Beautiful.
Not the guy from Australia, though.
Without that in hand.
You came to America just for this, right?
Yeah.
Just for.
Oh.
Yes.
Someone hear it and I'm going to see
He's like, what is this?
Hey, Angela.
Fine.
Why don't you take showers with the rest
No. To the rear carpet dream.
Yeah.
Flat as a board and needs a screw.
That is amazing.
You'll never have to try that again.
I'm not triggered.
Okay, I think we've actually got to kind of wrap this up, unfortunately. I apologize, but we can take one more question. Right, you're back there?
Titanic.
Right there.
I played, like any kid does. I grew up in New York City, so not really in formal Little League, but at recess every day, we played we put sand into a wiffle bat, so it's a little bit heavier and, I went, yeah, you cut 'em open.
I have a lot of questions about that scene. That was like a 3-hour, epic moment in the movie, the whole movie. How long, wasn't it like a full day of filming?
I don't remember, dude. Yeah, it was like long, but I mean, what was stuck out to me is Robert would cut like the same gestures back into it, so it made you look like you were standing there. It wasn't in context because you were reacting to somebody else who was like next to you, but he took them out of the frame, so you just looked sort of.
You have a baseball take.
Yeah, it just looked like you had a tank. Weird. It wasn't long. That wasn't long.
We know, we were there.
Well, thank you all so much for coming out
Thank
today.
you, we love you so much.
Who's photo? Wait. Yay! Stay right there. If you guys have more questions, just stop by and see us. Ask away.
Yeah, let's do the groups upstairs. You got a few more hours for this. They will answer whatever you need.
They are awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you all again.